a mess, a very dangerous mess, and a very sad situation. But we talked about Venezuela also.
We're a couple weeks into General John Kelly's time as your chief of staff. What have you done differently? What has he done to change the way you act, perhaps in the way that your White House acts?
Well, I think General Kelly has done a fantastic job. He's a respected person, respected by everybody. Things have come together very nicely. And I have to say, I think probably, and I've gone through this a lot, but I think very, very few presidents have done what we've done in a 6-month period. Whether it's optimism in business, whether it's a stock market, whether it's picking up $4 trillion in value with companies and equity, whether it's all of the many things, including the Supreme Court justice, regulations being cut massively. We have, I think it's 48 bills being passed in the I'm talking about legislature, not just executive orders. I think few have done anywhere near what we've done. And we'll work now on tax reform cuts. We'll never stop working on, as you know, health care. That's also working, and we're working on other things, including infrastructure. We're going to have a very big infrastructure bill. So I think nobody's done, very rarely would I say that anybody's done. I'm not sure that anybody's done what we've done in a 6-month period. He's a 4-star from the Marines, and he carries himself like a 4-star from the Marines, and he's my friend, which is very important.
Mr. President, a number of Republican senators have rushed to defense the Senator here, Senator Brady McConnell, in the last day or so. What do you make of that as you reach out?
I don't make anything of it. We should have had health care approved. He should have known that he had a couple of votes that turned on him, and that should have been very easy to handle, whether it's through the fact that you take away a committee chairmanship or do whatever you have to do. But what happened, in my opinion, last week is unacceptable. Long before I ever decided to be doing what I'm doing. 7 years they've been talking repeal and replace, and it didn't happen. Cuts, reform, I think we're going to do well on infrastructure, and things will happen with respect to health care. And I think things will happen maybe outside of necessarily needing Congress, because there are things that I can do as president that will have a huge impact on health care. So you watch.
Have you spoken to the governor of Guam, and what can you tell me?
They will be very safe, and if anything happens to Guam, there's going to be big trouble in North Korea.
Have you ordered any change in our military readiness?
I don't want to say that. I don't talk about that. You know that. I'm not one that says we're attacking Mosul in 4 months. Okay. We do it or we don't do it. Yes.
You're interrupting your trip here.
This isn't really for me a trip. You know, I stay out of Manhattan because it's so disruptive to go to Manhattan. Now I will be going on Sunday night. I have meetings on Monday and Tuesday going to Manhattan. But I stay out because it's so disruptive. You know, all of my life, I mean my adult life, because I grew up in Queens, not in Manhattan. But during the time that I lived in Manhattan, whenever a president came in, it was very disruptive. And I think I'm probably more disruptive than any of them. So when they have to close Fifth Avenue, when they have to close 56th Street and many other streets, so I'm here for that reason. We're doing a tremendous amount of work. We're having, large numbers of meetings, and I'm on the phone a lot. But I'm here. But it's very, very disruptive to do.
We have a trip to Washington on Monday.
Yes, we have a conference scheduled, we have a meeting scheduled, and we're going to have a pretty big press conference on Monday.
Secretary Tillerson, are you two on the same page?
Totally. I can tell you totally on the same page. And Secretary, maybe you'd like to make a statement?
Well, I think it takes a combined message there if we're going to get effective movement out of the regime in North Korea. I think
option. We have many options for Venezuela. This is our neighbor. This is, we're all over the world, and we have troops all over the world in places that are very, very far away. Venezuela is not very far away, and the people are suffering, and they're dying. We have many options for Venezuela, including a possible military option if necessary. Say?
That would be a U.S.-led military operation?
We don't talk about it, but a military operation and military option is certainly something that we could pursue.
We heard from North Korean state TV saying we consider the U.S. no more than a lump which we can beat to a jelly anytime.
Well, let me hear others say it, because when you say that, I don't know what you're referring to and who's making the statement. He hasn't been saying much for the last 3 days. You let me hear him say it.
Mr. President, do you support regime change in North Korea or in Venezuela? Do you think those would be?
I don't want to comment because I think they're very different places, so I don't want to comment. But I support peace, I support safety, and I support having to get very tough if we have to protect the American people and also to protect our allies.
Do you think your vice president will be a candidate for president in 2020?
I don't think so. No, I don't think so at all. He's a good guy. He's just, as you know, he's left for Colombia and various other places. He's been terrific. He's been a great ally of mine and a great friend of mine.
Are you considering further economic sanctions against North Korea?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Very strong ones.
Which one?
They're already very strong. We are considering additional sanctions at a very, very high level. Both because we have been working very hard on being sure that Americans have the training they need for the jobs in the future. I also want to thank Ivanka, my daughter, for her leadership on workforce training and her efforts. She's been working very, very hard to create new economic opportunities for women across America and actually for women across the world. She's been working with the Chancellor of Germany on helping women all over the world. In the past 7 months, we've made enormous gains in getting Americans back to work. The stock market is at record highs, unemployment is at a 16-year low, and manufacturers have never expressed more optimism about the future. The optimism has been truly incredible. Recently, Foxconn announced that it is going to invest $10 billion to build a new factory in Wisconsin. We want to make sure that every job that comes back to our shores is filled with American workers. We have a lot of companies moving back to our country. You're probably seeing that 2 major automobile companies just announced they're moving back to the United States. And that's why in June we began a historic initiative to expand apprenticeship and workforce training programs in all industries. We're expanding pathways to success, so important. And apprenticeships are one of the many avenues that lead to the great jobs completely debt-free. And who knows more about the word apprentice than Donald Trump? Great. And you love getting up in the morning and going to work, and a lot of great things involved here. We're also here today to discuss additional steps we will be taking to apprenticeship programs, especially for women and minorities in STEM fields where women have been truly underrepresented for many, many decades. Technology has become a part of nearly every industry, from manufacturing to retail. And we want all of our citizens, every single citizen, including women and minorities, to have access to high-paying tech jobs and other STEM-related jobs. American workers are the best there is anywhere in the world, and we're finding work for them. We're building plenty of new roads and bridges, by the way. The technology that has revolutionized the globe, and so much more, as you're well aware. Their skills, talent, and grit have always put America on top, and we're going to remain on top, but at a much higher level than we are right now, to lead us into the future. We have great hope. We have a great future in this country. There's never been more optimism, and again, unemployment at a 16-year low. So, thank you very much, Betsy. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. And Ivanka, congratulations on working so hard. We really do appreciate it. Thank you. Any questions? I think it's pretty obvious. We are looking at that very carefully, and I hope that they are going to fully understand the gravity of what I said and the meaning of those words. Those words are very, very easy to understand. And talk about back channels. We want to talk about a country that has misbehaved for many, many years, decades actually, through numerous administrations, and they didn't want to take on the issue, and I have no choice but to take it on, and I'm taking it on, and we'll either be very, very successful quickly, or we're going to be very, very successful in a different way quickly. In the United States, that I can tell you.
Mr. President, you said you wanted to send a strong message to North Korea. What do you say to your critics who say that your rhetoric is actually raising the tension?
Well, yeah, because it's me. If somebody else uttered the exact same words that I uttered, they'd say, what a great statement, what a wonderful statement. They're only doing it, but I will tell you, we have tens of millions of people in this country that are so happy with what I'm saying, because they're saying, finally we have a president that's sticking up for our nation, and frankly,